Howdy Banger fans, Blayne Smith here, bringing you an Overkill Reviews Quarantine Edition, Overkill Reviews Bootleg Edition. I don't know, it's Overkill Reviews, Banger's weekly metal review show, just a little different. I'm at home, of course, because of the quarantine, but I'm still trying to give you all the banger hanger touches I can. Put a relevant record back there. I've put some Daniel William-esque album art tying in lighting. I'm just giving you that experience. But at my desk, where, hey, you might catch me at twitch.tv/metalcomedy playing video games. Hey, later today, Saturday, Wednesday, hey, twitch.tv, great way, come hang out with me. We talk about metal, we play video games. Great way to stay together despite the fact that we're isolated. And, the banger business as well. I hope you're liking, subscribing, all of that. Those of you that are still giving, means the world. We super appreciate it. Allows us to keep bringing you content from whatever way, shape, or form we can. But enough business, on to some music. If you watched Metal Monthly, it was a black metal heavy month. You want some more black metal? I got it for you. Here you go. Yes, that's right. Sojourner is releasing Premonitions today, May 8th on Napalm Records. They're a bit of a newer entity in the black metal space, so hey, let's go on over and learn a little bit about them. So, if you haven't heard from them, as mentioned, they are a black metal band of the folky, atmospheric-y, epic-y variety. They're from everywhere. Sweden, Scotland, New Zealand, Italy. They really were ahead of the curve on this whole social distancing thing. They're far apart from one another, but they make some cohesive sounding music. Basically, to me, they're kind of like if a power metal band decided to play black metal. They've been on a real upward trend with their past two records, and hey, this one marks a big shift. They're on Napalm Records now, moving up in the world. Let's see if they're moving up sonically as well as professionally, financially. I don't know how the music business works. So, pressing play on this record was a little distressing for me. The album opener, The Monolith, sounds a little, I hate to say it, it's so mean, but it sounds a little Evanescence-y. I'm sorry. We've got some piano, and Chloe Bray's normally fantastic singing is a little processed, and it comes off sounding like that. Ooh. Luckily, this is not the overall state of the album. Both singles, which you might have heard, The Deluge and Fatal Frame, are kind of more in line with what you're getting out of this album, which there has been a sonic shift for the band, just not as drastic as that opening track scared me into believing, which is good. So Fatal Frame is actually an especially good example of what this band does so well, which is make good sounding black metal out of a lot of pieces that don't necessarily sound like black metal. Again, mentioning the power metal-y type vibe, the guitars have a real soaring feel, and frequently they do a kind of cool winding staircase ascension type of feel, which is how actually The Monolith wins me back towards the end. Definitely it feels like in between albums they went into the forest, grinded a bit, got some levels up, and allocated a couple of points to songwriting. As I'm sure you've gathered by now, if not earlier, this is Ren Fair black metal, not murder people black metal. So if you're of the nerdier persuasion, you'll be at home here. There's keys on the album. There's tin whistle as well. They're mostly used to really good effect, and the tin whistle especially adds some great folk atmosphere and plays some pretty nice melodies. What seems from a glance like a simple instrument is used really well, and hey, is more complicated than you'd think. Nice. Thankfully, though, most of the album vocals do maintain that Beauty and the Beast kind of contrast that the band has become known for. Emilio and Chloe going back and forth, giving you that nice, powerful female vocal with that grimy black metal vocal. It's especially great when they sing together at the same time, like on the ending of the Apocalyptic Theater. That's always my favorite stuff that this band does. Lyrically, also a strong album. No real choruses, just kind of cool stories that you're moved through. I'd give you an excerpt, but really I'd just have to read you a full song, which I could do because they included a lyric sheet. Yay! I'm not going to. And that lyric sheet is great, and it's helpful when you're reviewing, which makes up for the fact that the album was a stream, not a download, which makes it more difficult to review. Boo. Okay. Let's get back to my issue with the start of the monolith, which I will weave into a larger issue with the album as a whole in an expert display of reviewing professionalism. So, besides the fact that I just don't like the way it sounds, the main problem I had with it is that when I put it on, I thought, hey, this sounds like something else. We're not going to acknowledge what it sounds like again, which is not normally a feeling I get when listening to a Sojourner record. They've put out 2 records before, and they're both very singular albums. They sound like each other, but other than that, they don't sound like a lot of other bands out there. So this was a weird moment thinking, hey, this sounds like another band that we're not going to mention. And while it's not a problem that plagues the album, it does creep up again on Talus, and it bums me out. And now you might be thinking, okay, after listening to those 2 songs, it seems like Blayne is just complaining about clean female vocals. And I am not. Chloe is one of the essential parts that makes this band so unique. And I really like The Pale Host off of Vampires of Ash, which is a similar sounding song, but it sounds different enough that it doesn't bother me there. Okay, so why? Well, it does seem like this time around there is a big band production. No, not that kind of big band. Don't cut to a clip. Don't do it. A mainstream band production. And I know I always complain about that, and for some people it's like, well, why does that matter? That just seems like a complaint. But in this case, I feel like it's an especially valid complaint because they make atmospheric music, they make folk music, and those are 2 musics that are really essential for that kind of different production, because you need that sense of authenticity, that immersion, and something sounding a little too clean, a little too professional, a little too modern, can kind of take you out of the world that this band normally is able to transport me to. Also, there's no fun troll metal song like Our Bones Among the Ruins off The Shadowed Road. But that's it for complaints. So, in the end, this is still a cool record by a unique band. It's just a surprising jump that I wasn't quite ready for. I figured they would eventually kind of get to this point as bands like this do. I just thought maybe there'd be a couple more records in between then and that kind of more mainstream sound. But hey, if it leads to more financial success for them, good on you. You know, don't listen to this dummy who just complains about things not sounding crappy enough. I do feel like they always really had beauty and aggression, and they've dialed up the beauty, but there was always a lot of beauty in their records, and they didn't really replace the aggression with anything, so we've got a lot of beauty and not as much aggression, and it's left a hole. It's not a big gaping hole, but it's a hole. I'm usually okay with holes. That sound... No, I mean like in clothes, like I have a hole in my clothing, and if it's a nice shirt, I'll still wear it. So it's still definitely an enjoyable record, just... the first 2 records, you know? But, hey, that is the old siren song that leads many a band to the rock. So, what are you gonna do? 3.5 out of 5 skulls. The skulls are rat skulls that big old owl barfed up. Did you do that in school too, where you got the owl thing and you took it apart and you found the bone? Yeah, I'm getting distracted. Shoutouts! I'm going to have to go back a little bit to April for these 2 shoutouts because I'm a little tapped in May from the Patreon tip sheet and Metal Monthly. But these are 2 really good records for April that I feel like relate to what I'm talking about here. So, if you're in the mood for some power metal, we don't get to talk about power metal a lot, but there is, every once in a while, a really great power metal record out there, and that record is Dark Forest, Oak, Ash, and Thorn on Cruz del Sur Music. You know, I'm a big fan of the genre, it's just a lot of it is bad. This is not bad. This is good. And a record that I didn't put on anything, I just purchased so I could enjoy myself. Just a rare treat for me was this Svartkonst, Black Waves. It came out on Trust No One Recordings. Boy, I'm really happy I just bought this record and just listened to it because A, it came with the best hoodie I've ever got. See my Instagram for Talk About It, you gotta buy the hoodie. It's just been a record I've really enjoyed. Again, a nice fusion of genres, black, death, crust, kind of all mixed in there. So if you like genre kind of fusion and just stuff that sounds different, unique, and I just enjoyed listening to it, not getting in the promo cycle, just enjoying this record, and I've enjoyed it enough that I can now pass it on to you. So here you go.